Hare Krishna. So today is a very special day because we are in expecting of the appearance day of Lord Ramacandra, which is tomorrow. And so today is Adivasa festival in the expectance of appearance. And I think it's proper to speak about Lord Ram and the teachings we can get from his life. Lord Ramacandra is Maryada Purushottama. Maryada Purushottama, that means that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who teaches by his example. On the other side, Krishna is Lila Purushottama, the Lord who just plays, who enjoys in different pastimes with his devotees. So, how much time do we have?
We've got about 35 minutes.
35 minutes? Not so much. So we can begin and we can see how far we get. So Dasharat was a very powerful king, but he had a problem because he didn't have a son. And his duty was to protect the citizens and to enable them to flourish in their life. So, because he was getting older and older and there was no issue, he was very concerned because this was his duty, this was his service to the Lord, to protect citizens. So he was praying to the Lord to get the son who can inherit the kingdom. And in order to get the son, he invited very special sage to perform sacrifice, the sage Rishashringa. And his story is very interesting, of Rishashringa. His father was seduced by Menaka, the heavenly damsel, and he had a child with her, this Rishashringa, and then Menaka left and went back to heaven, and he was so frustrated by this behavior that he wanted to raise his child and that he wouldn't know that women exist at all. Yes. So he was raised in complete celibacy, of course, and he was taught different yagyas and so forth. And the boy, he wasn't aware that there are two sexes. And there is any difference. He wasn't aware that there are women at all. And then there was a big drought in the kingdom of Anga. There was a king Ramapad in this kingdom of Anga, and he wanted to get rain, but it was said to him that only the sage who never was in any contact with women can perform yaga. And so he wanted this, and he was told also about Rishashringa. This is the one that can perform such a yaga. So, but father didn't want Rishashinga to leave forest because he didn't want to come in contact with women. So, but Maharaj was so desperate, this Ramapad, that he risked the curse of a sage, and so he sent some damsels dressed as ascetic sons to seduce Rishashinga. And they came to the forest, and they said to him that there are sons of different sages that live in the forest, and that they would like to have his company and play with him. And he was so enamored by them because they were different than him, as they were soft-spoken and very gentle, and their laughter was so enchanting. So, and before father returned, because father went away this day for some business he had, they went away, and Rishashinga was really distracted, and father was concerned what is happening, and he was telling about these boys who came there, the sons of different rishis, and he became suspected. What's happening here? And next day, when he was away from home, these girls came again and took him away to this kingdom. Yes, and then he really performed the sacrifice, and the rain came. And this same sage then was invited by Dasharatha to perform yagya to get son. So he was considered really pure-hearted, without any tinge of lusty desires. So then the heavenly personality appeared from the fire with a pot, two pots, I think, and one was given to Kaushalya and the other to Kaikeyi, and they both gave portions to Sumitra. So one gave, and they immediately got pregnant. And Kaushalya, of course, gave birth to Lord Ramacandra, Kaikeyi to Bharat, and Sumitra, who got two portions, she gave birth to twins, Shatrughna and Lakshman. Yes. So this story is important. Also, this sacrifice and Dasharatha's yagya and prayer and desire to have a child, because he was very pure-hearted, and one would think that this desire to have a child is material desire, but he was a devotee, and he was so elevated devotee that Lord himself appeared in his as his son, or even in 4 features he appeared as his sons, actually. So his prayer was in fact prayer for service. So if we have some desires, it's beneficial to have desire for service, not for some material benefit. because usually people are praying for children for material well-being, not for some special service in mind to serve Krishna. And Bhaktivinoda also prayed in similar way, thank you, to have a child that would be a ray of Vishnu. And so he got Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as for his son. Yes. And then of course everyone was extremely attached to Lord Ram because he's all attractive. Who cannot be attracted to the Supreme Lord? Even the demons are attracted to the Supreme Lord. They are standing in line to fight with, with the Lord, yes, to come in contact with Him. So then Vishwamitra appeared and wanted to take Ram from the kingdom, from the court. And this was very, very difficult for Dasharat, because he's completely attached to Lord Ram, but on the other side he cannot say no to a sage. It's impossible. So it's a really awkward situation, and many times we will also be in awkward situation. What to do in life, how to act properly. So we can see from these examples of great sages and great rishis and Raja rishis, as was Dasharat, how to act. They always acted according to Dharma. Yes. We have also example of from the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. His father also faced this dilemma. One rishi came to their house, one sage, one sannyasi, and they discussed Krishna Katha all night. And then he said to this sannyasi, "You can ask for anything, I'll give you everything, whatever you want." And he said, "I want your son Nitai." And this was death blow for him. Yes. And he didn't. He couldn't say no. He asked his wife what to do, and she said, "Whatever you do will be okay." And he knew that I cannot say no to a sage and to sannyasi, and I offered him whatever he wanted. So the same was here the dilemma for Dasharat. And Dasharat, of course, and Vishwamitra's purpose to get Ram was to fight against the demons. And he considered, how can this boy of 14 years age can fight the demons? I will go with all my army, I'm a powerful king, and fight the demons. Why Ram? Let him become man first, and then he can fight when he becomes a king. But Vishwamitra was determined to take just Ram. And so we'll be faced with many difficulties in our spiritual journey, with dilemmas that we won't know how to act, how to behave. Yes, but it is always beneficial for us. Even if we are asked something impossible, as Dasharat was asked by Vishwamitra, if we act according to direction of great souls, because Vishwamitra was of course great soul, and we should also act always in line with the desires of spiritual authorities. Then everything will be perfect. And so Ram, as we know, got married by Sita during his traveling with Vishwamitra. and Dasharat was again very happy, especially because now his son was married and ready to get the kingdom. And then we know that Manthara was becoming envious, and she told to Kaikeyi that yes, now when Ram will be the king, you'll not be important anymore, and in fact you should get Bharat to become a king. This is just Ram's Dasharat is neglecting you. Always, although she was his favorite wife, in fact, Kaikeyi. And she was perfectly happy with the situation, and she loved Ram like anyone else, but she was distracted by sweet words and the envious approach of this Manthara, and she poisoned her mind. And then, according to her advice, she wanted Ram to be banned to the forest for 14 years. And this is important instruction for us to avoid association of envious people. Because they will always speak like this to us in a way that will flatter our false ego. But if we see that they're envious and against other people, it's better to avoid such company. Yes, because these envious people and not serious in devotional service will come in our life often, because not many people are really serious in devotional service. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur called such people Dharma Dvajis. Dvaja means flag, and Dharma is of course Dharma, and flag of Dharma. They wave the flag of Dharma. They wearing kanti mala and have tilak on their foreheads, but they're not really devotees in the heart, and they compromise their devotional service. They're not fixed in devotional service, and they can pollute our mind, especially if you're not really fixed in devotional service. And their association is worse than association of materialists, because when we associate with materialists, we are on God. Yes, I know he's not a devotee, he's a materialist, and I don't want to accept his standards of life and ideas. Yes, and principles. But if someone is supposed to be a devotee, and he's not really devoted in his heart, and he has compromised principles, we can be influenced, because we say, he's devotee, I shouldn't be such a fanatic. And so we may compromise our devotional service. And we know from scripture that we should practice tivra bhakti, intense devotional service, if you want to achieve anything. Otherwise, watered down devotional service will not do much. We can get a little bit more pious, but if we cultivate material desires, we'll get the body to enjoy these material desires we have. As simple as that. Because people usually think that Krishna will make some miracle at the time of my death. But death will not bring us any miracle. Death has no power to do miracles. Yes. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan tyajanti ante kalivaram tam tamaveti kantaya sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of consciousness we have at the time of death, that state will just continue in new circumstances. So death itself is no miracle. And if we don't connect to Krishna during our present life, or we cultivate material desires, we don't consider our material desires as problematic, Krishna will give us facilities to enjoy these material desires. He's merciful. Yes. Prabhupada said that if you have desire to taste one chocolate, Krishna will give us the body to taste it. Yes. So we should be careful what we desire. And as I said, that if we want whatever consciousness we have at the time of death, that consciousness will just continue without any doubt. So if we want to go to spiritual world after death, we should live in spiritual world now. It's very important to understand that no miracle will happen at the time of death. Yes. So, and then, of course, Ram was banished to the forest because of Kaikeyi demanded to Dasharatha that he's obliged to fulfill her, to give her a boon, because she saved his life on a battlefield. And he promised her a boon. And she didn't ask at the time for the boon, but now that Ram was just about to be coronated as the king, she asked this boon to be exiled to the forest, and Bharat should be coronated as king. And this was a death blow for Dasharatha, and for everyone in the kingdom, in fact, not just for Dasharatha. Everyone was completely devastated. And but important is to see how Ram reacted to this, because if we were expecting something very great honor to be bestowed upon us, and everyone is expecting this, everyone is celebrating this, but suddenly someone comes and says, no, you will not be on it, you'll be exiled. For 14 years, not just for 14 days. For 14 years. He accepted it completely calmly, without any disturbance of his heart. And no one could tell him, actually, except KK, I think. She was the only one who was able to tell him. And he accepted it with no problem. So this is another very important lesson to us. Not to be attached to anything in this world. Because all attachments lead to suffering. It's just suffering. Yes. More we are attached to something, more we suffer. And we think we are attached to something that make us happy, to brings us some enjoyment, isn't it? And Krishna explains in 5th chapter of Bhagavata-dharma, Yehi sansparsha bhoga dukkha yona yevate adyantavantah kanta nateshu ramati buddha. That those who are intelligent did not try to find happiness in material things, to enjoy material things, because they have their beginning, adi, and anta, their end, and so they give birth to misery. So whatever we attach to our family, children, wife, husband, good food, good facilities, good job, money, house, friends. These are things that we are attached to, aren't we? But even Queen Kunti prayed to Lord Krishna. Yes, what is the verse? Ata vishvesha vishvatman vishvamurti svakeshu me sneha pashamindam chindi dridam pandishu vrishnishu. Please, Krishna, cut this attachment to Vrishnis and Pandavas. And we know that the Vrishnis and Pandavas were Krishna's associates, not just devotees, but most dear to Krishna. But she prayed for her attachment to be cut from Vrishnis and Pandavas. Dridam Pandashu Vrishnis. This Sneha Pasham is ropes of affection. Please cut these ropes, which are very tight and very strong ropes of attachment. And Tvayi menanya vishaya matir madhu sakrit. Tvayi menanya vishaya matir madhu mati sakrit. Rati mudvakatada gogavagamatambati. Let my attraction to you flow like river Ganges, just for you. Because Ganges flows without any hindrance. Even if mountains are falling into the Ganges will find the way, or under the mountain, or around the mountain, or over the mountain, whatever, just to flow toward the sea. And so she prayed to Krishna, let my attachment flows just to you. So this is the example we should take. And also Ram was exhibiting this when he was exiled, to take everything in this world as Krishna's mercy, in fact. If we take in this way, then we are free. Otherwise, if we are attached, we just suffer. If we take it as Krishna's mercy, everything that comes, then you're liberated. You're Jivan Mukta, liberated in this body. Yes. And it's explained in Bhagavatam, Taltenu kampansu samikshamano, bunjana vatma kritam vipakam, hritvakva purvirvidadannam asti jivita mukti pute sadaipa. Our consciousness should be like this. Whatever difficulties I experience in my life is just because of my misdeeds in the past. And whatever is happening, I will still glorify Krishna with all my heart and my mind and my body. And thus we can become a rightful heir of spiritual world. Yes. So, yes, this is very important to understand, and how Ram reacted. And it's important also how Sita reacted to Ram's exile. She was a princess and used to live in luxury from her birth, actually. And she didn't think twice. She wanted to go with Ram. And everyone was saying to her, just stay here in the palace. You are not used to living in the forest. This is a harsh environment, dressed in bark and live on herbs and roots. It's not so simple. And no luxury, no electricity, yes, no Wi-Fi. Problem. Yes, but she said that don't. When Ram was preaching like this to her, stay here. She said, don't make my father a liar. And he promised that I will stay with you for all my life, so don't make my father a liar. And even heaven without you becomes hell, she said. And hell without you, with you, is like heaven. So it's important message for married life also. What attitude should husband and wife have toward each other? This is very important. That husband should be ready to do everything for his wife, and wife should be prepared to go everywhere and anywhere to follow her husband. Yes, it's a very important message, especially for the modern world. Is something not very fashionable. But only by this attitude one can be happy in married life. If you don't have this attitude, you're just miserable. This marriage becomes somewhat mutual exploitation thing. So this oneness, because wife and husband are considered one body, two souls in one body, or one soul in two bodies, whatever. It's important to understand. how the relationship should be. And it's interesting then in the forest, when Sita was seduced by this golden deer, and she asked Ram to go and to kill or bring this deer to her. This is the teaching that we should avoid material desires in our spiritual journey. Because of these material desires, Sita sent Ram away from her. So our material desires are sending Lord away from us. And not just that we send Lord away, we also send our Guru away. Because she also sent Lakshman, who is Adi Guru, in fact. She also sent him away, not just Ram. And she thought that she's protected, but she wasn't. So we may think that we are still in spiritual consciousness if we have material desires, but will be defeated by Ravana. And Ravana represents all our different material enemies of lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride. What else? Is some envy. Yes, envy. Madness and envy, these are the same enemy. One who is envious is mad also. and pride. These are the same, in the same category. Yes, and then these enemies of the soul will overpower us. And if we want then to get Sita back, or Bhakti, she represents Bhakti, we should cross the ocean of material existence. Yes. And there are so many obstacles in this ocean. We have not much time left, but we know that Hanuman was sent to get in contact, to find Sita, in fact. And he jumped to Lanka, but during his flight to Lanka, there were many obstacles. First, Menaka appeared as a big mountain for Hanuman to rest. It was sent by Varuna, and Hanuman didn't want to waste time. It's another important message for us. Not to take rest from devotional service. Yes, not even for a moment. Bodily rest is devotional service when needed, but not rest from devotional service to get relaxed or anything. This is just Maya sending some allurement to us by pleasingly speaking, just take a little bit rest. So it's not so serious. You need some relaxation. Yes. So there will always be some obstacles sent to our life. And then Hanuman didn't consider this very important, and he didn't want to lose his time by resting on this mountain, and he just flew further. And then came Surasa, the mother of serpents, and she wanted to devour him. She got the boon that no one can go by her without devouring him or her. So she wanted to devour Hanuman, and because Hanuman was quite big monkey, she enlarged herself, and Hanuman also enlarged himself. And so she enlarged to 1 yojana. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So this is 13 kilometers. And he enlarged even more, Hanuman. And then she enlarged to 10 yojanas, and 20 yojanas, and 80 yojanas, and 100 yojanas. So extremely large demoness, or how to call her. And then Hanuman turned in a very small, like thumb-like size person, and flew into her mouth, and fulfilled this boon that no one will pass without devouring. So it's no problem to enter so vast mouth and exit immediately. And this represents false ego. We want to inflate our false ego enormously, but only, and we can compete with others, who is more important, who is greater. Like here, Hanuman and this Surasa were competing, who is greater. But Hanuman defeated her by humility, actually. When he became smaller than the smallest, one would say. So it's important to be humble in our life. No need to compete with others. There is an example of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis who were challenged by some Digvijay to debate, but they didn't want to waste time with him, and so they just signed their defeat. So humble. They were the most powerful acharyas of their time. No one would compare with them, and they just signed their defeat, no problem. You can go and show everyone, yes, I defeated Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. But Jiva Goswami, as a disciple, he couldn't tolerate this, and he didn't want to sign this paper to be defeated. He said, "You rascal, you think you defeated my Guru Devas? I will debate with you." And he completely devastated him, because as we know from our books, Prabhupada explains often that Jiva Goswami was the greatest philosopher of all time. So no Digvijay could possibly compete with Jiva Goswami. So, but Rupa Goswami, as the spiritual master of Jiva, he apparently wasn't satisfied with this, and he said that no one with pride can stay in Vrindavan, so you should leave Vrindavan. But the reaction of Jiva Goswami is also very instructive, in the same way as Hanuman. He didn't defend himself. I did it because I wanted to protect your name, and because this is some rascal who offended Vaishnavas. But he accepted the word of his spiritual masters. Yes, what he's speaking is true. I'm polluted. I'm too proud to be in Vrindavan, and so he left. Yes. So Hanuman then flew further, back to Hanuman, and then he met this great Rakshasis, Senika, who also who grabbed his shadow. And this is also instructive for us, because if we are envious, we try to find the shadowy side of people and hang on it. She was a tantric mystic, and so she grabbed this shadow, and Hanuman couldn't move. So if we are envious and are fault finders, we are trying to catch the shadow of people and immobilize them, yes, in some way or other. So and she also wanted to devour Hanuman, and Hanuman again became very small and entered her body and destroyed all organs and heart. Also he teared to pieces her heart. Yes. So if it is for the service sake, we can destroy such people if needed, who are just clinging to shadows of people and wanted to destroy them by finding faults. Yes. It's important from Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who is one of the 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan. He didn't want to hear any fault of any Vaishnava, even if this was true. He said that these faults are not important, because the fact that one is glorifying Krishna and worshipping Krishna and serving Krishna is most important. So he focused just on glorifying devotees, and he didn't want to even hear what is wrong with any of the devotees. Yes, what to speak of spreading this around. So we should be very careful not to cling to shadows of people, because this is the nature of the conditioned soul. This is the most tasteful rasa for conditioned soul, to find faults with others, because we are in this world, we are playing the role of Krishna. We want to be Krishna, and because there is so many competitors to our role of being Krishna that we should prove to everyone that this particular person is not fit to be Krishna. I am fit, but not this one, and not that one, because this is his shadow. So we should be very careful about this, to get rid of this tasting, this rasa. This is, in fact, the consciousness of Rakshasas. It's blood-sucking mentality. Yes, as finding fault is blood-sucking mentality, to enjoy blood of other people. Yes. And finally, Hanuman came to Lanka, and there he was faced by Lankini, the protectress of Lanka, and she got a boon that no one could pass her, except when there will be when one monkey will come, who will defeated her by a slap. Then she will know that there is the end of the kingdom of Lanka. Very near. And when she wanted to stop Hanuman, she just slapped her and she fell down. And she became ecstatic. Yes, I was waiting for you. Yes, to come. And it's interesting that Hanuman, who was brahmachari, was again and again tried to be stopped by different women. This mountain, it was Timoness or Menaka, and Surasa was also female, and Senika also, and Lankini also. So if one wants to progress in spiritual life, he will face this attraction of opposite sex all the time. Even if we are not brahmacharis, even if we are grihastas, it's also dangerous for a grihasta. There is the same principle if you are brahmachari, grihasta, vanaprastha or sannyasi. There shouldn't be any improper association with women. So in any ashram we see every Mataji as our mother. Of course, if we are grihastas, then only our wife is seen as wife. And also in this situation, wife is, my duty is to help her to get to Krishna. So I'm a servant in every circumstance. Yes. And our wedlock is meant just for service. Yes. As it is said in the beginning of the Bible, that God created an assistant to a man. This was his wife. Yes. So they are meant, of course, to serve together to the Lord and to spread Krishna consciousness. This is the mission in every ashram, to spread Krishna consciousness. Of course, we have many duties to perform, but we should know this is my foremost mission in life, even if I am grihasta. So my mission is to spread Krishna consciousness at least in my family. Yes, that my wife should be Krishna conscious, my children should be Krishna conscious. Then the purpose of married life is fulfilled. Because it's not mission of a grihastha ashram to make money. This is one of our duties, but not our mission. Our mission is to spread Krishna consciousness, to be Krishna conscious, and to spread Krishna consciousness to others, to be merciful. Yes, and this is the highest form of mercy. We have here wonderful example of Bhargava Prabhu, who organizes these gatherings to facilitate spreading of Krishna consciousness. Yes, it's important. This should be our mission in our life. So I think we should end. I went beyond my allowed time. Lord, appearance day of Lord Ramacandra ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.